Alright, hello everyone and welcome to AEW Discussion. I'm your host on AEW enthusiast Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Dynamite March 22nd, 2023 episode. So this episode of Dynamite had one big thing going for it, and that was a dream match between Kenny Omega and now Vikingo. I hope I said that right. Also on this episode was Sting making his return to in-ring action in a trios match, and yeah, with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with that trios match: Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and Sting versus Butcher, Blade, and Kip Sabian. So this was a high-energy match with a red-hot crowd, a good opener to start the show. Sabian, Butcher, and Blade, you can make the argument that they are underutilized in AEW, but they had an opportunity to shine in this match. Sting, despite being 64 years old, still is one of the most electrifying pro wrestlers in AEW, and perhaps all of wrestling. Most certainly AEW though. Cassidy was great as per usual, and Darby Allin would explode off the screen anytime he was in the ring and on camera, or the main focus of the shot. There was a lot to like about this match, the least of which was Darby Allin's focus after the match on the graphic for the Double or Nothing May 29th. Now it's not a WrestleMania sign, so you probably won't get anybody pointing at it, but probably for the best that they come up with their own little twist on that one. So yeah, stare at the sign, don't point at the sign. Allin figures to be one of the three competitors challenging for the AEW World title. If last week's opening segment in the video package that aired on this episode of Dynamite are any indication, but what's not quite clear is the match going to be a fatal four-way, or is there going to be some sort of road to the title, or is only one person getting a title shot, and then all the episodes from now until Double or Nothing are just about deciding which of the three gets that title opportunity. Be interesting to see. Promo from Adam Cole. So next week Adam Cole will be making his in-ring return, and in this segment we found out who his opponent was, which was Daniel Garcia, and certainly this promo segment was good enough to set up what should be a hotly anticipated match on next week's show. Garcia nearly slipping and calling himself a pro wrestler. Nice little touch and callback to when Bryan Danielson was questioning or trying to convince him that he was a pro wrestler. Is it a reminder that he's not necessarily all in a JSH? Maybe not. Is there a story here? Maybe not. But nonetheless though, Daniel Garcia is an interesting first opponent for Adam Cole, but he's also a good in-ring competitor, so it should be a pretty good match. Stu Grayson versus Jon Moxley, and overall solid match here. Grayson continuing to look motivated, and also looking to reestablish his place in AEW, as he had left AEW when his contract expired. Now it appears that he is back under a new contract, so he looks motivated to prove that he belongs back in AEW. Moxley worked well with him in the BCC since their transition to being a bad guy trio. It's worked out pretty well for them so far. They're doing pretty well with it. They got themselves a big feud going on with the Elite. It looks like they moved on from Hangman and Dark Order to Hangman and the Elite. Yeah, and because earlier in the show, or I guess when the show started, you see the Man Bucks being carried off into an ambulance, and then Brandon Cutler is implying that it was, or saying that it was the BCC that did it, and then Don Callis, well, he seems to be implicating himself in some sort of fashion into this matter. Could it be that Don Callis has used the BCC to try to split up the Elite so that Kenny Omega can focus on being a singles competitor for the benefit of Don Callis? Maybe not. And speaking of Omega, Kenny Omega versus El Hijo del Vikingo, and this was a great display of athleticism and a breakout performance from Vikingo that announced to the world who he is and what he is all about. He's a young star, 25 years old, and he certainly had a task in front of him, but I think he accomplished all that he needed to do in this match. Granted, this match itself, not really an A-level match, more like a B-level match. There was something missing from the match. Maybe it's a cohesive story, maybe it's the thread that ties all the spots together. Excalibur would have mentioned in a commentary that perhaps the Young Bucks being attacked at the start of the show was a distraction for Omega, but you didn't really quite see that play out all that much in this match. Even not even like a momentary interaction with Don Callis on the floor. So not necessarily having that thread that ties everything together. Maybe it kind of held this match back, but it was still a pretty like solid, good main event match. After the match, the BCC would appear again and attack Omega until Hangman Page would re-emerge and basically drive them off, only for Don Callis to fake a bump and then blame it on Page, which led Omega to leave the ring with Callis, clearly skeptical of Hangman Page and everything else. So I talked about the earlier attempt on Don Callis, so there was a promo segment earlier in the show where Callis was simply telling Omega to not worry about the Young Bucks and just focus on the match. And here, once again, we see Callis trying to drive what appears to be a wedge between the Elite, trying to keep Omega focused on his singles career, basically ignoring his friends, because for Don Callis, Kenny Omega is his meal ticket, and he does not want that slipping away from him. Eventually, though, Omega will catch wind of what's going on, and we'll probably split from Don Callis for good, but it'll be interesting to see what there are, how this story unfolds, what are the twists, what are the turns, and when does like the story reach its climax? I guess you could say the climax would be Omega split from Callis. That could be the climax. So when does the story reach its climax? We shall see. And with that, we'll go and wrap up this episode of AEW Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.